Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, and good evening. And I want to welcome you to the Happy New Year. Happy New Year. This is 2025. 2025. Hey, Tommy Gore, how are you doing? Good, good, good. 2025, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, we are crossed over into 25. This is the first show of the year. My first live show. I mean, I'm always posting videos anyhow still, but this is my first show of 2025. That's on Talk and Sip, and it's going to be a very interesting year. Today, this is going to be a very interesting year, I must say. There's so many different things happening this year. It is a content maker paradise, I should say, if one navigate the world, navigate of what's happening, the Trump factor, the Korea factor, the France factor, the Germany factor, the UK factor. So many things happening in the UK, and most importantly, for those in the diaspora and those who have a very key interest in Jamaica, that interesting time because of the pending election and also the tabling of the bill for the removal of the King of England as the head of state. So there's a lot of things which are happening, but it's very important that as people that we are very cognizant and susceptible and aware of what is happening. And that is what I plan to do. That's what I plan to do in the next 12 months. That's what I plan to do in the next month, in the next week, in the next day, in the next hour, in the next second, is to be in the process as a conduit. That's what I would say, as a conduit, as a person that will be an empowering tool. But guess what? First of all, this is Saturday night, and this is Talk and Sip. So I'm going to ask a question for you there on YouTube, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, TikTok. What are you drinking? Now, I can say for myself that due to the festive season, I have some sorrel, straight sorrel here. And this is sorrel that I have here. Of course, it's in a Stella Artois glass, but it is sorrel. I can't make it too much because it will junky, because it's got a little dash of rum in it. You know what I'm saying? I gave a flask of rum for sorrel instead. I just deposited some flask of rum, Uncle J, and waboom, knocked on my door, and there we have with some thing. Now, I do not understand what TikTok is saying. It says your live contain themes that some might find uncomfortable. Is it that people might find uncomfortable talking about drinks or so? I don't know. And also what I do have is to have some what should I say? Some sparkling water. Sparkling water, as we say, crystal punch, crystal punch as well. And that's it. But yeah, it's a very interesting time, and I'll just go straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll invite persons who are on TikTok. If you want to join in, I invite you to come over to YouTube, where you can join in as a guest and you can speak. Or if anything, I can open it up on TikTok as well. Just send your invite as your invite if you want to. And for those on Instagram, you have to come over onto YouTube. In order for Instagram is not that very proactive in a sense. It's only can show. And yeah, so that's it there. So without further ado, let me just crack on with the show, and let's get going. Well, let me just stop this here. This is 2025, and a very interesting year. And I'm trying to make sure that I do not get into the the typical throes of the typical discussions um, on social media, on TikTok. But of course, I'm not a primary person on TikTok. I'm primarily on YouTube as well, and on Facebook. And TikTok is like the overflow. So I'm not gonna get caught up into the fray of things. As a matter of fact, they're talking about TikTok might be banned in the States on the 19th of January. I don't think it's gonna be, because Donald Trump has said that uh, just keep it open until I come in. I want to invite persons to like and share the video. Tap on the screen, tap up on the screen, as they say, tap on the screen, and share the video, and also as well, share the YouTube channel, share the Facebook as well, and come into the conversation. The topic tonight is election echoes, Jamaica and the world in transition. Right? Election echoes, Jamaica and the world in transition. Yeah, and the focus on the global political shifts in 2025 and the Jamaica elections, because we cannot take away the Jamaica elections from the world, and we cannot take away the world from the Jamaica elections, because everything seems to be very much interlinked. The global crossroads, Jamaica's journey and world turning point in 2025, as the title says, encapsulates both Jamaica's political and social evolution and the significant global events shaping the world in 2025. It highlights Jamaica's position within the broader context of international development, reflecting the let me just check out something. I like to just check to make sure that I'm being my recording is going well. What was I going to say again? Yeah, the it highlights Jamaica's unique position within the broader context of international developments, reflecting the island's history and the place in the current geopolitical landscape. I'm setting the stage like that, the geopolitical landscape, because we're in this international global body. I was listening to and I got a speech of Mia Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, and she set out a very strong agenda and her vision for CARICOM and etc. I listened to the Prime Minister of Jamaica set out his agenda. I listened also to the opposition leader setting out his agenda and for governance. And I think what I'm going to be doing is to do 2 separate videos, maybe 3 actually. A reaction with Mia Motley, a reaction with the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, scrutinizing, and also a reaction to the opposition leader, because we're in this threshold of this very key moment. Threshold in this very key moment when we talk about the election pending, which is 2025, and also what is even more important is the reform of the Constitution and the tabling in Parliament of removal of the King of England as the head of state. But that is very important, because I always say all the while, it is not just removing the King of England as head of state. It is how you remove, and what is going to be the replacement. Is it going to be a ceremonial president? Is it going to be an executive? And what does that mean? And some people say, and they write and they question my different YouTube videos, how will this put money in my pocket? Why the need for a prime minister and a governor and a president? Why is that? Why do we need to change things? Some say just get rid of everything right away. Yeah. So that's it. And so Jamaica is poised. The term sort of global crossroads, people, emphasizes the interconnectedness of the world events and Jamaica's role within them, while Turning Point suggests, not Turning Point, the organization, suggests the pivotal nature of events occurring in 2025. Pivotal events, nature of events occurring in 2025. Why do I see restrictions on TikTok. TikTok is crazy. I don't understand. I give up on TikTok. I'm just doing it for the motion or so like that. You know, uh, I don't understand that. Jamaica is poised for significant political changes in 2025, with several key developments on the horizon. General elections are scheduled to be held by 2025, within this year, with some speculation it may occur earlier. Very early, could be any time. Such major parties, the Jamaica Labour Party, the JLP, and the People's National Party, are gearing up, for a competitive race. And I believe as well, not just the JLP and the PNP, I believe also a few independents are gearing up. I might have someone from one of the independent party may join me later. All gearing up for a competitive race. Transition to republic. Jamaica aimed to remove King Charles III as head of state and become a republic by 2025. I was saying to myself the other day, what is the diaspora actually saying in regards to this actual move? How is the diaspora? What's the voice of the diaspora at this time? Can we vote? I can simply answer that no, you cannot vote from overseas, but of course you can vote if you go down to Jamaica. I think one of the things we call it is election tourism. Nothing stops anyone from registering in Jamaica and then go down to Jamaica to vote. So there's a possibility. But you see, when I was looking at something the other day, I was looking at this Freedom Street, with Carter, and I was noting something. No, I didn't watch it. I wasn't there. But based on reports and what I've heard that there are a lot of private jets went down. A lot of Jamaicans went down. I even see some Jamaicans that I know that was there as well. Secretly, they went down there and gearing up for the street party. But the most important thing is that it was like the diaspora played a fundamental role in the whole thing, right? Because the prices was very high, I got to understand. And there was a lot of people from the diaspora, a lot of people from overseas who went down there. So it shows that the diaspora effect is very powerful. The diaspora effect is very powerful. It's very powerful when it comes on to even TikTok. The diaspora in its impact is very powerful, I believe, when it comes on to remittance, as we all know. That was very significant during the COVID period. The diaspora effect, I believe, should be and very important when it comes on to transition from the King of England to a president or to whatever, right? And I believe that role is very significant. There is a discussion which is going to be had on this Thursday, this Wednesday, actually. There's two, Tuesday and there's going to be Tuesday and also Thursday. Let me see. Tuesday and Thursday. I can't put up the information there. There's going to be a special discussion forum on the Constitution Amendment Republic Bill. Tuesday, January the 7th, 2025. Constitution Amendment Republic Bill. I'm not privy to put out the information yet because they're still in the process of working it out. It's going by Zoom with Professor Rosalie Hamilton, Miss Michael Jackson, and Miss Danielle Archer. And it's a special discussion talking about the Constitution Amendment Bill, I believe, which is very important. And I believe a lot of people should be aware of what is happening. And then on the 9th, there's going to be a virtual Constitution reform panel discussion also taking place, led by the Honorable Marlene Malahou Fort, KC. She's Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, and also Constitution law expert, Dr. the Honorable Lloyd Barnett. There's also a Mr. Dr. Sumit Bisaria, International IDEA is from, and Dr. Elliot Bulmer from International Idea. This is going to be Thursday, January the 9th. And of course, once I get more information, I'll be able to put this out as well. In the theme, the Caribbean in an era of decolonial constitutionalism, lessons and insights. Right? Now, who is supposed to be hearing these sort of discussions? Who is supposed to be getting involved and having dialogue in these discussions? This is a theme. Caribbean in an era of decolonial constitutionalism, lessons and insight. I believe somehow at times that these sort of discussions is pointed away from the average Jamaican, I must say. I believe it is, David, or you? I think it is pointed away from the average Jamaican, and and when it comes on to, I'm drinking some water. When it comes on to election, for argument's sake, election 2025, and if we go back to, hi, Happy New Year to you, Michelle, how are you? Hopefully, if you can come on, you can come on. When you think of the elections in previous years in Jamaica, the last general election, the last local government elections, the last by-elections, what you see is something very significant. Or what you saw or read or heard is something of a great significance. And I tell you what it is. The turnout was very poor. You're talking about 37%, 20%, etc. Very, very low turnout of persons that turn out for these elections. And then you have to ask yourself the question, who are the persons that turn out for these elections? What is the class status of these persons who turn out for these elections? Do you know? Anyone know? Can you tell me who are the persons that turn out for these elections? Who are the persons that go to vote? Who are the persons that determine whether it is going to be a PNP or a JLP? Who are the persons? Answer that question, please. Anyone can answer that question? I'll be very grateful. And and thank you so much for joining, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, those on TikTok, and those on Instagram. I want to sort of have this sort of discussion. And what I got to understand, even from in my brief visit to Jamaica of recent days, that the persons that turn out for elections to vote, the person that seem to be very vocal and engaging in these elections, are the poor class. Are the so-called, what do we say, those who are not that educational, bright, those are the type of persons who are. So you got to ask yourself a question then. So what happened to the middle class? What happened to the so-called rich persons, the professionals? Why are they not engaging? So therefore, if you had a 37% persons turnout, 20 to 37% turnout, and then at the last general election, there was 37%, 700 and so thousand people that came and voted out of the 1.9 million was on the electoral list, and 400 or so went to JLP, 300 or so, I believe, went to PNP. Then what happened to this 1.3 or 1.2 or the 67% remaining people? Are they being influential? Are they being influenced? Or they are happy with the status quo? They don't want to rock the boat. Why? So therefore you have the 37% and the 27% or so of the persons who are the ones who are gaining traction within the electoral thing. The ones that can be be bought. That's what they'll say. And I believe I'm going to be having a discussion with Daniel Archer talking about this bribery bit, something, some regulation that they're trying to get in as well. And of course, I believe from the government side, they're saying they got it already. So it is a very interesting period and an interesting time in Jamaica. And we have to make sure that one is not distracted by many different things, distracted by music, distracted by TikTok, distracted, but really focused, because it is the mother of change which will impact the future of Jamaica and Jamaicans. And I speak from a diaspora perspective while I'm not there in Jamaica. But at the same time, one has a vested interest, because I believe the diaspora plays a fundamental part. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me. What do you say about that? Now, the other things which are happening in this world, as I talk about the whole aspect of changes happening around the world, you know, list of countries, of course, we're talking about governments in the world who are transitioning. There's a wave of changes which are happening in the world, you know. United States, democracies which schedule election. Donald Trump returned to the presidency, you know. But people are somehow hoping that something may happen because he's going to be sentenced. But of course, he's going to be sentenced, but more than likely, he's not going to be in prison. But can you imagine if Donald Trump is sentenced to prison? And can you imagine, well, I'm just saying, if he goes to prison, I always ask this question: what happened to the CIA guys and the Secret Service? Will they be manning the prison houses as well? Anyhow, that's something just not going to happen. But I always just laugh and think about that as well. What do you say? Will the Secret Service be there? You know, and do you think he's going to be sentenced? And what do you think the outcome of it is going to be? But I believe in the States that there's got to be some sort of changes whereby persons who are felons should be barred. Persons who are charged or having a criminal thing against their name, there should be a big wrong bang, wrong bang, tiki, and wrong bang mean to say that they're prevented, they're stopped from going further into that. That is something that America's got to sort out, if anything, because you can't tell people who are felons now or so not to do certain things, or they can't do certain things when they got from the top. But hey, America needs some serious changes, man. I mean, there's some terrible thing which has happened in recent days. The burning of that lady there in the train, the vehicle that ram out of and lots of people, about 15 persons, over 30 persons being injured. I think it is increasing. I don't know if at 14 or 15 now. And the key thing about this is this: the person was homegrown. I saw the video, but I think I posted a video of the guy saying, and you listen to him and you say, hey, this guy is fully blown American. So therefore, but he was radicalized. How can you stop freedom of speech and freedom of expression? That's a big thing. Germany, Chancellor Olaf Scholz seeking re-election. Germany is having that impact. Australia, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese seeking a new mandate. Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau facing his fourth election. His Minister of Finance has resigned. African nations with upcoming elections as well. Got Cameroon, Central African Republic as well. 9 other African nations, specific countries not named in results. Countries in political transition. This is a period of transition. Burkina Faso, ongoing political transition. Guinea, elections potentially postponed until 2025, which is postponed to 2025. Mali, continuing transition process. Niger, political transition following recent coup. Gabon, elections announced for August 2026. In the Philippines, escalating political drama between powerful clans. In South Korea, ongoing political tensions and resistance. I believe that they were trying to arrest the president, who has been suspended, but I think a lot of security and different persons blocked it, and that couldn't happen. Hungary, potential rise of new political figures. And then right next door to Caribbean, in the CARICOM, in Trinidad, there was a state of emergency. There was a killing of some top security guy, top lawyer guy, and the prime minister has resigned and said that he's not going to run again. He's 75 years of age. He said he's been serving for 45 years. Many people have been pointing it and say to the prime minister in Jamaica, see, these guys step down. I think another country, some police, I think in is it Bahamas or Barbados or so, I believe a senior police guy has stepped down. So, so there are a lot of changes, a lot of transition which is happening around the world. And I believe in our lives as well, there's going to be a lot of transition which is taking place personally in people's lives as well. Lots of transition are taking place personally in people's lives. So yeah, but I think the key, but the most important and key thing I believe, which is of great significance, is Jamaica. Yeah, is Jamaica. That's the most an important one. But also, you know, in the UK here, because I just want to drop it there. In the UK here, you're seeing where by Elon Musk, and I don't know who is no Elon Musk, you know. Some are saying Elon Musk is talking a lot into different things into different countries. Some are saying that there's a potential for there to be some flare up between him and Trump. But you can see that he's right there by Trump. But I believe the impact of Elon Musk is that he's got this massive platform now that he can shed some light on things all over the world. And he's shedding some light on issues which are happening in the UK, especially on this thing with Tommy Robinson. And he's shedding light on many different things. Many people are saying that it's money talk and BS walk, but I believe he's shedding some light. Nigel Farage, with reform, there's a recent stint or recent issue with the leader for the Conservative Party. The leader for the Conservative Party is Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch, that is the new leader. Let me see if there she is. Kemi Badenoch. She mentioned something about Nigel Farage today. What she said is that the figures that was presented to say that their membership has grown and even surpassed the Conservative Party membership is somewhat deemed to be fake, seems to be not true. So therefore, as a result of that, Nigel Farage took offense to it and said she must apologize or he's going to sue her. But I think listening to some rally which he just had recently, he said, I've asked for an apology, didn't come through, but thanks to her that they have got so much more members, because the last time I looked at it, it was 169,000 or near to me. I think maybe by today it's about 170. It's about 170. Let me see. It's about 170 person. There's a ticker. So he's been a bit annoyed by it, but at the same time he's not so turned off by it. He's happy for that. And reform in the UK is turning out to be a major force. Starmer is with the Labour Party is turning out to be a farce. The Conservative Party, they're waiting to see how that happens, and we see how that go. But let me just hear Uche. Uche, how are you, man? Good afternoon and good happy New Year to you. Hope you're well.
Greetings. Happy New Year and happy New Year to your audience.
Yes.
All the best.
Yes. I like your background there. You really bring home the Jamaica vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm in the country.
In the country, where the cow and the goat there, or the goat are run. They don't want a curry goat. Them
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, listen. Happy New Year to you. And I just said this is my first time coming on, and I just said there's a massive transition going on in the world at the same time. And I believe a massive transition is in place to happen in Jamaica. And like we're talking about Jamaica now, and you are a vice president of the DDP, which is the, remind me of the DDP. Has that changed?
Diplomatic Democratic Party.
Diplomatic Democratic Party. So hold on, aren't you gonna drink some coconut water like the Prime Minister? He's always out drinking coconut water.
Well, I drank my coconut water this morning.
Drinking coconut water this morning. Yes, um, yes. It's a very interesting time in Jamaica because we're talking about the constitution reform and removal of the King of England as head of state because something was tabled recently, and we were talking about the pending election. And I mentioned about when I'm talking these days now, and I refer to PNP and JLP. I always say PNP, JLP, UIC, and other parties because people always stop there, PNP and JLP. But I tend to say UIC, DPP, and others to show that there's more picture or person there. But what's your vision for 2025 for Jamaica and these prospective changes?
All right, so as the you hearing me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, I heard a
Yeah.
little interference just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as the vice president of the DDP, the for 2025,
Yes.
I want to see some significant change to our political system, right?
Mm.
It's politics or our political system. It plays a very big role in steering our lives as a nation, right? Or we overcome hurdles, or we deal with our problems, and how we move forward progressively, right? So
Yes.
I I definitely want to see more inclusivity of the people because again, as you say, people say PNP, people say JLP, but then they exclude the others who don't identify as either PNP or JLP, right? But we are one
Yes.
nation. We are one nation.
Yes.
So at some point in this year, I would love to see a united approach when it comes down to the affairs of our country. Unity is very, very vital, very
Mm.
important. And I want to see the government, the opposition, all of civil society, everybody who said them a Jamaican, who have a birth certificate or who have a Jamaica passport, right? They identify as a Jamaican. I want to see everybody, just joining hands and heart together to really fix this country because this is our country. You
Mm.
understand? And the solution is not in one man's capacity, right? We
Yes.
all have our individual part to play in advancing the welfare of this country, right?
Yes.
So I want to see more unity. And again, the political system definitely needs some fundamental change. You understand? Andrew Holness must understand that him is a public servant. Margoli must understand him as a public servant, and they must do the will of the people, and not the other
Yes.
way around, or nothing more, nothing less. You
Mm.
understand? And when we get the politics together, then all the other areas such as healthcare, education, the social aspect of our lives as Jamaicans will
Yes.
definitely improve. You understand? But political leadership, political direction is very, very important for us to achieve all the other milestones that are there.
Can I just say then in principle that it's a wish and it's a dream and it's a vision, but it is something that we're not going to maybe see in the foreseeable future of everyone working together. Can we agree on that in a certain way, even though we wish for it to happen?
I mean, we always wish, but again, we wish with the hope. But as for me, right, I really speak things into being. I
Yes.
really speak things into being. We say things, but as you know, my TikTok handle is action now. So we
Yes.
talk, but then we have to do the work. We have to
Yes.
do the work. It's very important we do the work. We talk, right, so that persons can hear what our hearts are saying, right? But we have to do the work, right? It's not gonna be something that it's not gonna be done overnight, right? But
Yes.
hopefully, I'm hoping that we can really get to that 2030 vision, right? And not the part of just making Jamaica a place to raise family and do business, right?
Yes.
But some other additional things, the political system, the healthcare system, the education system, everything must be cleaned. You
Uh,
understand? So I hope we can get to that 2030 vision. But again, I'm not really wishing. I'm gonna do all that is within my power to,
Yes.
to enforce some change in this country. That's really where I'm at.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I want to just look at this issue. This is something which is, it is messing with my head a lot. Is regard to the elections, the recent elections, the recent by-elections, the recent local government elections, the last general election. We're seeing the turnout being very poor, and then at the same time, the turnout which is turning, and the people who are turning out, they're not the middle class, they're not the affluent, they're not the professionals to a certain extent, but yet at the same time they're the ones who are going to put the respective government in power, the PNP or the JLP. How can that be fixed? How do you see that people can really, you know, be a part of that process? Because it is not good.
I oftentimes say now, Mr. Sidial, that the state that the country is in is, all of us are to be blamed at some level, right? All of us, because for me, well, me probably can't take myself outside, but the majority of the country, right? They have stopped participated in the elections. As you say, the numbers,
Yes,
60 something percent in the last general election, 70 something percent in the last local government election.
did not
People are
turn up.
shy. Yes,
They,
people are shying away from the elections, right? And so
mm,
what we have is a government that is given to us by a very few of the population. You
mm,
understand? But then the question we really need to ask is, how do we allow ourselves? We say that we are intelligent, we say that we are intellectual, we say that we know about government, we know the roles and responsibilities and what government should do, but yet still we allow we allow the persons who are, I would say the uneducated, the politically uneducated. We allow them to go out and to give us a government that we
mm,
really don't approve. You understand?
yes,
So the masses of the people who have shied away from the political processes, they need to understand in this new calendar year that
yes,
they hold a very important power to change the political trajectory of this country. They need to understand that, right? They
mm,
need to understand that. But even before understanding that, they also need to become politically emancipated. They have to
yes,
know, say, hey, if the future of this country is not in the hands of the PNP or in the hands of the JLP, we need to find somebody hands and put it into. We need
mm,
to come together. We need to come together, create the unity, create the movement, and champion the cause of this country. But we cannot sit back saying that, oh, we know how the country run. We know all the things that are going wrong with the country. But yet
mm,
still, we shy away. We sit back and we allow the little licky one, them will love the little bribe and the little curry goat and the liquor and something to go out in them green and them orange and give us a government that makes our
yes,
life live in hell. We must stop this. We have to stop this. So we all have our parts to play, and we are doing this country a great injustice when we shy away from the political processes and not creating any alternative to fix the
yes,
issue. We're doing
yes.
a great injustice.
Yeah. Now I hear clearly I hear clearly what you're saying there. That a grave injustice is being done, and the two, I think it's now 2 million persons who are on the electoral register list, and what we're seeing, and I was speaking to someone earlier today to say I'd like to trace back all the recent elections, the last election, the before election, and the person said actually it's always been there. 40% has been the maximum apparently. So therefore, but the key thing is this though, Brethren, is it that the middle class and the affluent are somewhat happy with the status quo because they are somewhat being influential in another way, you know? as someone always say, the PSOJ oligarchy, they sort of control the whole process. You know what I mean? At the same time. So they don't want to rock the boat. They're happy with all things that they're happy with the high-rise building. They're happy with the roads. They're happy with these major developments. They're happy with the opening of these places. They're happy. Could it be?
They're happy because they are the ones that really control what is happening. And you see, what we have in Jamaica is really, the same plantation model. We have the same plantation model. When we got independent, when we got emancipation, and you know the history, Sir Sidel, when we got emancipation, our forefathers got nothing.
Hmm.
Our forefathers got nothing.
Yes.
The oppressors, the enslavers, they got land, they got compensation for the atrocities on our ancestors. Our ancestors got nothing.
And when I came to the UK, I was helping in paying off some of the slave masters in 2015 through taxes.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And these and the private sector are, when you check us, when you check them, they are really the descendants of these colonial the oppressors. So of course they are okay with this, with the status quo, because they are the status quo, right? They are the ones who really fund the political parties, the PNP and the JLP, right, to mismanage the country and to make our lives a living hell. They are the ones. They are happy with it. Whether PNP or JLP, they have their businesses that makes millions of dollars daily. They really don't care. They really don't care. You understand? But the sad thing is that the people who are hurt the most, they are the ones who run up out there in orange and green like an headless chicken and put these people into power. The same people who have no interest in improving their lives.
Yes.
No interest at all. The middle class, there's not even a middle class, Sir Sidel. Like you're talking about a middle class, but right now in Jamaica, you only have upper class and lower class. There's no middle class,
right?
Because everybody's suffering under this economic system, the state of the economy right now, right? Doctors have to be striking, teachers have to be striking. These people were the middle class, but I mean they are struggling.
Yes.
So the struggle has reached to the middle class, and they are now being treated like the lower class.
Right. So therefore, people have to wake up and recognize this, because how I see it is that even with the constitution reform, which is supposed to be taking place, and removal of the king as the head of state, that is so poignant and so very important, because someone wrote something the other day: how will this put food in my pocket? What's the need for a prime minister and also a president? But one of the responses I gave to the person about food in the pocket, I said, can you imagine when slaves were going to be freed? Were you asking that question? How will that put food in my pocket? When in 1962, when we have elections, with the independence, was a question asked, how will that put food in my pocket? Because you and I know, no food never going in people's pocket that time. When it get emancipation, food never going on about the pocket. When it got 1962, food never going on about the pocket. I mean, the lower class to a certain extent, but it is trying to find a level of whereby we have some level of self-reliance and relying up on ourselves and having some dignity to a certain extent. But if you do not have these changes take place without, like, the constitution reform, where the people hand is in it, Uche, whereby people are not being JLPIs or PNPIs, but they are being Jamaicanized in the whole process. That's what I believe need, and that's why I said the diaspora need to play a big role in this whole thing, even though the vote is not there.
Exactly. Yeah. For him to make a statement like that, it shows that he's misguided.
Yes.
He's misguided, and it's time for us to you see the education around this process of the constitutional reform. And again, for me, I am not really in I'm not for the constitutional reform. Jamaica needs a completely new constitution. A lot of lawyers will argue and say the constitution works and it this and it that, and all of these accolades them give the constitution. Yes. But truth be told, whether it works, yes or no, it is not ours. It is not authentic. to
Yes.
Jamaica. It is a piece of legislation that was given to us
Handed
by
down.
our,
Yes.
yes, was handed down.
As a
And
matter
I
of
want
fact,
to ask you,
as a matter of fact,
Yes. Yes.
hi Michelle, how are you? Good evening, Michelle. I was gonna say,
Good.
as a matter of fact, it was even handed down. It was given. It was. Are you take this?
exactly. And I want to ask you, Mr. Sidia, because you're in England.
Yes.
Is England using this constitution that we are using?
There's no. We do have a constitution in the UK. It's an unwritten. We have an unwritten. There's no constitution, bro. I'm a
So,
lawyer. There's an unwritten constitution we have. It go by
okay, so
precedent, judicial precedents, and everything. There's not a constitution.
okay, so we were given a constitution by the monarch
Yes,
who don't use a constitution.
we have a constitution.
So
Michelle.
it's just like somebody buy one car, right, and him drive the car for years and the car depend the last, right,
Mm,
and him have the money can upgrade, so him
yeah,
sell the car and buy something better, right,
yeah,
and then the other man will buy the old car now. Him glad, but when him check a stock, him don't know say that car they gonna left him a road sooner or later. It's gonna
yes,
be a lot
yes,
of problems. You
yes.
understand? So we
Let me.
have to,
Mm, yeah, go on, go
yeah,
on.
man, we need our own authentic constitution.
Yeah, let me say hi to Michelle. Michelle, good afternoon and happy New Year to you. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Bless you, bless
I'm
you.
saying I'm right along with you. I am right along with you. It was written by them for them, not for
Yes,
us.
yes. And that's somebody on TikTok just says miseducation, but when they wake up, there's going to be a rebellion, just like the plantations. You know, it's about miseducation because people are going to realize eventually that, hang on a second, this thing is not really helping us. And that's what you said just a while ago, Michelle, is that it is not written for the mass of the people. It is to control things, to
Exactly.
control, to keep people in
Exactly.
place. Someone even said the other
It
day,
was written for their benefit
yeah,
and for us,
yeah.
not for us to
Someone
benefit
said
of
the other
them.
day, and I'm just repeating it. I'm not getting into heresy or whatever, but they said the army, has an army ever gone anywhere? Why you need an army? The army has never gone to any place. And as a matter of fact, in Haiti, it wasn't the army that they wanted to go. It's the police. It's the police that want to go to Haiti. So therefore, the army is there to keep things into subjection.
The army is under the control of the governor general, who is
Yes,
the remnant of the crown. Yeah, they serve no purpose because
yes,
they're not fighting any war. They're not
yes,
helping to reduce crime and violence in this country. The army is there to really suppress any uprising similar to what happened in 1865, thereabout, the Morant Bay War.
mm, mm.
That's how they, you understand, and that's so the police and the militia, and that's so them, you understand, they're there to keep things in check. They serve no other purpose.
Yep.
Yes.
They have their agenda.
Michelle, how do you see for 2025 for Jamaica? You know, there's the 2025 election which is pending. There is the Jamaica becoming a republic because it is tabled in Parliament. Speaking to a couple of persons, there's going to be a 3 months process of that. Then you're going to have a referendum at some point. What's your take on the future of Jamaica for 2025? Yeah, how do you see things unfolding?
They have a lot to work on. I'm
Mm,
sorry. They
mm,
have a lot to work on because to me, neither party is doing any good for the country.
mm.
None of them. It seem to me like they know their job, what they're doing. Number one, for it not to have a set date to vote. You know me already with that, Silver. You know,
That is
why
so.
isn't it there a
Yeah,
set date for a vote? So he
elections.
could
Yes,
just call it at any time, and the next party is not really ready. Them to put out campaign, them to put out. It's
Yeah,
just,
they're playing
it,
games. They want to play games with people's
yeah.
with people's with the political processes. A game them are playing. Game they are
And
yes,
like
playing.
what you said earlier is that there's no poor people, there's no middle class people no more. It's either rich or you're
mm,
poor in Jamaica. And
Yeah.
mm,
and that is what it's like here in America right now. We don't have any kind of middle class anymore here. There's no such thing as middle class here in America. It's either you're rich or you're poor. So the same thing I run at Jamaica too.
Mm, mm, mm. Yes, yes. It is very.
And this is the reason why they chose Donald Trump, because the Democrats them seeing that for all these years they was going that way. Them see that it never did work for them. It now work.
Mm, mm. But
So it's
you know,
time for Jamaica.
go on, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle, you're saying something. Time for Jamaica, Michelle. I think I lost you there for a second. Uche, is there? Michelle?
Yes, I'm still here, you know.
Yeah, I think Michelle. She's not coming through properly. Yeah, she was saying something about time for Jamaicans to really, when we see all the different, you know, there's a lot of noise, Uche. There's a lot of noise, and that is why I was saying to myself, I try to be very strategic and not to get into the noise factor. It is like permeating the darkness and to shine some light in, to say to people as much as possible, get involved in the political process, get involved in the constitution reform process, because trust me, it will continue and it will go through, Huche. It can just go through it. It will go. It can go through it, and then we're all gonna say, "How did this happen? How did this happen?" Because the people have not had a fundamental input in the whole thing. But the powers that be, believing that they're doing it in the interest of the people, are just going to continue and believe in some respect they may believe with their whole heart that they're doing the right thing.
But you can't do something for the people without the people.
Yeah. Mm.
You have to do it with the people. The people has to be the center of what you're doing. You understand? And let me
Yes.
tell you something. Jam, ja- this. I wish I could just overturn this whole madness, because making Jamaica a republic without fundamentally changing our political structure is not going to put us in a better place. It's not
Yes.
going to put us in a better place. What is going to happen is that they are going to have more autonomy and more control over their corruption.
Mm.
That is what they are doing. That is what they want to do. You understand? They don't want nobody. You see, no, like how you can carry cases to the Privy Council. No, they don't want that. They want to have them own way and do as they want, right?
Mm.
And have full control over the process, right?
Let's look at something here. Something which uh, Professor Rosalie did regarding the bill, and they said the Constitution Amendment Republic Bill 2024. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can actually share this, because I believe it is very important to share this and to just look at it. I think
How
some.
many pages? How many pages is
No,
it?
no, no, no. This is not a. This is not This is an article.
Okay, okay,
This is an article. Um,
okay.
Constitution Amendment. I don't know if it comes up. Can you see it? Is it up yet? It's not up yet.
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. The Constitution Amendment Bill and Referendum Vote. And it says the Constitution Amendment Bill 2024 was tabled in Parliament on December the 10th. This is the first legal step in the process of reforming the Constitution to establish a Jamaican Republic. The process requires Jamaicans to vote in a referendum about the legal framework that will underpin the future development of our country. But what exactly will we vote for? She said. The bill contains a complexity of issues. Some I support, she said, but others I reject and see as dangerous for Jamaica's future. I did a video on this bit here with these 6 points. One, what's in the bill? The bill repeals the Jamaica Constitution Order in Council 1962 and adopts the second schedule, the Constitution of Jamaica, as domestic law with the following changes. One, removal of the British monarchy as head of state. Now, everybody said this is way overdue. I even sent it to some people. They didn't even look at 5 and 6. They just say this is completely way overdue. Replacement of a Jamaican president as head of state, chosen by the prime minister through a parliamentary process. 3, entrenchment of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. 4, modification of rules for citizenships, rights and legislative process. 5, recognition and formalization of national symbols, emblems and items including the flag, anthem and motto under Jamaica's jurisdiction. And 6, retention of the parliamentary cabinet system of government. Think about that. You're retaining the same thing, not changing it.
Exactly.
And what you said right here is that the most consequential and troubling aspect of the bill is the number 6, the bit about retention of the parliamentary cabinet system of government. This really means that we will be asked in a referendum to accept directly or indirectly unfettered top-down governance in the structure of government that concentrates power in the hands of the prime minister, PM, and cabinet. Not change, Bridget. The person on TikTok said the people must wake up. Jamaica is not poor, just mismanaged. Also, Jamaica is a prime real estate. Now, I think that is also right, Bridget. Jamaica is a prime real estate because even UDC and these places are selling up Jamaica as much as possible. Uche. As a matter of fact, I do believe that, as Kofi said, I do believe that in 1962, an opportunity was missed whereby Jamaicans should have been apportioned lands. They should have gotten lands to give them a leg up to say, okay, here we go now. This thing about crown land, because in real terms, when they say crown land, many people like to say this thing about crown land, but really and truly, England are really business about what going on Jamaica.
That's true. They turn over, they gave the government in 1962, they gave the government autonomy to carry out what they started.
Yeah.
Understand? So all of these lands that are still as crown and given away, divested to private sector to do all sorts of things. These lands should actually be given to the marginalized, the poor Jamaican people. But then, Mr. Sidial, again, the system is such that we must suffer in perpetual poverty. That is the system. Nothing that should give us a head start. It is always throw. So Sidial, it is unfortunate, very unfortunate.
But let's go back to let's go back to that point there about the 6 some of the points which I flagged up to a while. I flagged up bigger heads hide in the process. Somebody say bigger heads hide in the process. That's what Writing God said. Bigger heads hide in the process. I think what Writing God is actually saying, he's saying those who are in power or those who know better, they're hiding the process with the words and some of the things that they're saying. What do you say about this? These 6 points and the point that Professor said, the retention of the parliament, that one day where you retain the parliamentary cabinet system of government and you're still giving the prime minister and the PM and cabinet the same power. Because what? They don't have a date. They're not giving you a date where you can call election. There's nothing about impeachment, bro.
That's what I'm saying. The entire process, Mr. Sidial, it's a process to further concretize what we have, but to give them full autonomy over it. It will not help the people in no way, shape, or form where transparency, where accountability, where inclusivity, where integrity is concerned, where impeachment and all of these. It will not give us that power. It will not make our presidency executive where we select the president as a people. They want to give us a ceremonial president. We just sit down up at top. So Sidial, we have to tackle this. We have to object to this. Yep. Objection is a must.
Did he say topple it?
Yes, we have to topple it. We have to object in every sense or at every level, because this is not good for our country.
Yes.
I
Well,
agree.
come
This is
again.
not good. This is only good to the political status quo. It is
Yes.
not good for the ordinary Jamaican people because, again, we have a problem with accountability. We have a problem with integrity in our political system. We have a problem with transparency, right? You see how many trillions of dollars they say is unaccounted for. No reports, no proper auditing. We don't know how the public funds are being spent or appropriated. We don't know these things. We don't know these things. The country is running like a little party shop where somebody just are doing business and everything is
Hold on,
just
hold on, hold on, hold
it's
on, hold on. Back up, back up. I was in Jamaica recently, and the party shops are run very well. So it's better than the party shops are run very well. You know what I mean? They're more organized. Just change it from party shop. You know what I mean?
so it's worse than party shop.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Worse than party shop.
You
Yes,
know?
man. The country is not, and then you have a lot of persons who sits with them chests out high and them stiff naked, and they say that the country is doing well, and this country is. I wonder what world they are living in. What world they are living in? The country is not doing well. I recently saw a report that the economy there's actually a reduction in our economic growth. I don't remember the different percentage or the different industries that have declined. But I saw the article. I don't know if you saw it, Mr. Sidian. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the country not doing well. And again, these politicians on either sides of the island Garden House, they have their agenda, and their agenda is just to enrich themselves and their cronies and to leave the rest of the country to suffer. I was told last night, this country, Jamaica, we have nearly 3 million people, and you're telling me that we only have one public forensic pathologist? When somebody passes, it takes weeks before that pathologist do what they do and confirm cause of death. One public
That is
forensic
horrible.
pathologist.
That is horrible.
One
Oh, Michelle, you're
public.
back.
You have private ones, but you have to have your money. But I'm talking about public. One public forensic pathologist.
Yes. Yes.
That no look good.
Let's look at it this way. Michelle and Uche and persons on TikTok and persons on YouTube and persons on Facebook and persons on Instagram. The question I like to ask is this. Is Jamaica running well? Because depending on who you speak to sometimes, they'll say Jamaica is running okay. Or is Jamaica running bad? Now, someone will say, the persons from the PNP side will say Jamaica is running bad. The person from the JLP side will say Jamaica is running well. Leave me clean prime minister and everything nice. The upper class, or those who are okay, they'll say, boy, Sid, I tell you, no really business what going on. I just do my work and I go on through. This is a conversation that I've had with persons when I was down in Jamaica recently. What and that's a thing whereby persons are not looking at the whole Jamaicanize things, but more looking at the P things, the JLPI's things, the PNPI's things, or whatever. But they're not looking at the bigger picture. Now, how can people then be inspired to look at the bigger picture? What can inspire them? Question.
Education, political education. It has to start there, because again, you said that if you talk with PNP, they say the country is not running good because yes, they want to get themselves into power. If you talk to JLP, they say that the country is running well. But then, Sir Sidial, you need to ask more direct questions. Ask more direct questions. You need to ask the persons who are saying the country is running well. If you get sick, can you get proper health care in the healthcare system in the country? That is what you should ask them. If you are sick, can you go down to Kingston Public Hospital or other public institutions across the island and get effective health care through the use of the various the various equipments. The nurses and the doctors there will treat you with, treat you good and
Yeah.
ensure that your health is. Ask them those questions. Ask them the question: How has it been to have your children matriculate through the education system? Do you see the education system working for your child? Ask them about the cost of living. When you go to the supermarket, how much is it that you pay for what the food you need to take home to your family? Ask them these questions.
And I
Because
think that
some of them they come like they're in a bubble. But when you ask them these things, because these are the realities, they have to answer to the realities.
yeah. And I
They
think
have to
Jamaica have
answer.
some of the meanest nurses in the world.
Yeah. Ask them about the state of the roads that they drive from when they leave them house to where they go for work or
Yeah.
wherever. Ask them about the state of the road. Ask them if they have access to water 24/7. Ask them these things, and hopefully that will ring a bell that something is not right in this country.
Ask them, do they know when the garbage truck is coming?
Yes. Ask them these questions.
Yeah.
If they these are the questions which we need to make it more specific. And not just about Jamaica now run good or Jamaica run good. We need to ask
Yeah.
about these questions. These questions. Are you able to
Per-
afford
pers-
food?
Personalize it. Personalize it.
Yes. It has to be personalized. Are you able to afford food for you and your family properly? Are you able to make it from one pay cycle to the other pay cycle without 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 being in debt and borrowing money from other people? Are you able to do these things?
Yes.
Ask
Yes.
them.
Yes. 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 It is very interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I said I will always be involved with any of these sort of civil society discussions in regards to constitution reform, from the overseas angle, and as much as possible to speak into it, because I do recognize that some of the persons who are involved with the civil society, that when they raise their voices, one of the things that they're being accused of being um, the political
Anti-government.
anti-government or PNPIs or whatever like that. And I think that is something which is hitting them a lot, as much as possible. And it's, as Michelle Obama always say, when they go low, we go high. And I think one can go high with keeping on the policies, keeping on the issues. You know, let me hear what this person says. Yvonne Bailey: cost of living is high all over the world, not only in Jamaica. But the tear down won't help Mark because him cannot help Jamaica. He can only help himself. But the tear down won't help Mark because him cannot help Jamaica. He can only help himself. I guess this person is actually saying that the world, and that is really correct. The a lot of high in cost of inflation is going on over the world. I mean, but one of the things that in the UK, let's use for the UK, while things are going up and the government has sort of recant and take away the fuel help for elderly persons, but there's still that support that they can go to through the council, that if people
Yes.
don't have any food or so, or if they become homeless, I work with the government through the councils, and I know that if people come and knock on the door, they won't be pushed away. They're going to get some help, get a hostel. They might not get the bread, the place that they want, and as well, people when they see sleeping on the road or so begging, really and truly, I always say to them, you can go to the council, to the homeless section, and they will find somewhere to. You may not like the place, but they'll give you a warm bread, warm food, and there are a lot of food banks all over the UK now to help people. This came on since COVID bit, and since after COVID, when a lot of people lose their jobs. So there are many. In my church, we have what do you call it? A food bank that can help people. In the members of the church, there's food that people can go. So there's a lot of support which is there. Can I ask a question? Is that support in Jamaica?
For to Ivan Bailey, you see, I don't like when we compare Jamaica to other countries in the world, because we're talking about Jamaica. Other countries will have to fight their struggles and to make things better for themselves. I cannot speak for an American. I cannot speak for a Canadian. I cannot speak for any other country because I don't reside there. You understand?
Exactly.
So the high cost of living in other countries, I mean, it is unfortunate, but I cannot directly relate right? I can only speak for what is happening on the grounds. And so we'll have to take actions on the grounds. And as we talk about food banks, Jamaica have a lot of crown lands that need to go into agriculture.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For a country that has a
Jamaica
history
do
of
too much
agriculture,
import instead of exporting.
yes. See, recently we have started import ice, and because it start the
Mm-hmm.
media, there's a press release of a document talking about the main manufacturer of ice. The establishment was destroyed by
Burnt
fire,
down or
and
something.
blah blah blah. If this never spiral out of control, we wouldn't have got that information. Why is it? Why is it that these things are not properly managed? The
Mm.
country have money. I have to tell me the place where make ice burn down and it not build back, and all of these high rise buildings just a billa galang so every day.
Mm.
Exactly.
This is
Them not
horrible.
have them priorities straight. Them don't have them priorities straight. That's the problem.
Mm.
This is horrible. I rubbish that excuse to be importing ice,
Yeah.
and the crown land them not being used for agriculture. So recently there was a factory. I don't remember the name of the factory, but there was some selling the people them that own. Not gonna send the article to Sir Sidial, but
Yeah.
there is a factory that was processing sugar cane. I think right now they're having some issues and they're planning to sell it. How much acres of land with the factory and all of these things on it because they can't manage it anymore. It is too
Yes.
expensive to operate it.
Mm. So what you're saying? There's a factory which is there. It's too expensive to operate.
According to the owners, so they are planning to sell it now.
Mm.
And guess
Some
what? Somebody out of the country I go buy it. Some other
exact
country I go buy it
yeah.
and start running.
But if I pick up back on what Miss Bailey said, that but the tear down won't help Mark because him cannot help Jamaica. He can only help himself. I don't understand that bit there.
Well,
But the tear down.
maybe she's talking about the actions of the PNP is kind of anti-government. So
Okay.
Mark doing that is not going to help him to assume prime ministership in the country, right?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe she's talking indirectly with the Integrity Commission because a lot of people are saying the Integrity Commission is politicized and PNP is using it and all of these things. I don't know where they get that from because
Mm.
JLP senators sits on the board of the IC. So I
Yes.
don't know. I don't know where they get that from.
Yes. 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 And the thing about it is that once an election is called, because many people are asking, like, what is it that the PNP has to offer Jamaica, uh and they're asking. I saw something about they're asking about the governance, because the opposition leader mentioned some stuff about governance in his message, and that is why I said I'm going to do a reaction to the speech by the prime minister and also the speech by the opposition leader in regards to their vision for Jamaica. I know that during an election era, an election time, nobody want to show their hands right away. PNP not going to want to show their hands. JLP not going to want to show their hands too much once the election is called, because they're going to say they're going to thief them style, thief them information. So therefore, one is waiting for an election to be called and then a manifesto to be produced. And it is so important, Uche, Michelle, and Jamaicans and everyone listening. It is so important for there to be a date when an election we call. So therefore,
Yes.
it doesn't spring upon you like a
It
six.
don't spring on the other party like that. That's
Yeah, and then so therefore persons are able to dissect what each party have to offer, and then they can choose effectively who they want to run. I mean, in the UK, don't get me wrong, the Labour Party in the UK did put out a manifesto and say what they're going to do, but the things that they're doing now wasn't in the manifesto. They keep saying that there's a massive black hole of 22 billion pounds and it messed up the whole thing, so they're just charging arm and leg and doing crazy things. Kofi said a lot of talk from armchair debaters, but what actions are being taken to change? A lot of talk from armchair debaters, but what actions are being taken for change to implement change? Now, when you hear this comment here, what do you say about that? Because armchair debaters can't do nothing. Can you,
Exactly.
can you do anything, Uj? Can you do anything, Michelle?
No, we can't do nothing in the armchair, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, Kofi, unless one is actually positioned in the government, positioned in a strategic way, you cannot do much. But what you can do is influence the mindset by speaking and hoping that the voices which are being uttered can be heard by people, and then people can change. That's what I'm about. So I can say without a doubt, I can't change much happening there, but what I can try to change is the mindset of persons based on the discussion that we're having here now, that we need a constitution reform whereby the people are involved in it, and it's become very Jamaicanized and not PNPIs or JLPIs, or becoming politicized. Am I correct? Yeah. And
You're
and
very
and
correct, sir. Siddharth. You're very correct.
very correct.
and that's the thing. So I don't knock TikTokers. I don't knock persons who are talking as much as possible, because you know and that is why sometimes they want to shut down all these mediums, because they don't want people to talk out them thing. You know,
Well, if
and, and
if we're not gonna talk about it on social media, it's got to be said in another
yeah,
medium.
it's gonna be said in another medium.
Hmm.
So I just hope, I just wanted to come on tonight, and by the way, just to say that there's this event which is happening Tuesday. It's going to be an event by the the person that many people say they are PNP. um, the what do you call it? Event on a virtual discussion is going to be taking place by the Minister of Malahoo Fort. That's going to be January the 9th, 2025, right? Called The Caribbean in an Era of Decolonial Constitutionalism, Lessons and Insight. And she's going to be joined by Dr. Honorable Lloyd Barnett and Dr. Summit Bissara and Dr. Elliot Bulmer. I'm going to put that out shortly. A virtual constitution reform. I believe this is so important that persons need to really tune into. And then there's also going to be the discussion with Professor Rosalie Hamilton, um, Miss Michael Jackson for Justice for Jamaica, Daniel Archer for National Integrity Action, to talk about the Constitution Amendment Republic Bill. That, I believe, is very important, and I believe persons need to really be involved in that.
I hate
Yeah.
the fact that it is. I hate the fact that it is virtual.
You mean to say they will just or,
Virtual spaces don't really yield much fruit, because when you need this face to face interaction where
mm,
people can express themselves. Virtual things sometimes, I see this constitutional reform, it's full of too much virtual thing. Let me start about the town hall meeting where people can go
yeah.
and talk their mind.
When I was in Jamaica, and I popped down to my previous school, which was York Castle High School, and I popped down to Otrios Primary School, and I see this massive space which they have, and I'm saying, why can't these discussions on constitutional reform take place in these places within the communities, in these schools all over the country? If every time you have one for a long time, there should be one every week. Having people going around the place and talking about it in bite-sized chunks. Hey, Michelle, hey, Uche, why is that? So, so,
Repeat that,
so,
Yes, that is
repeat that,
true.
Ochi man.
huh?
What you said just now?
What we say is that the whole constitution reform discussion should have been something which is on the highlight, on the lips of everybody in Jamaica, removing the king as the head of state, not something whereby people say, "Boy, I can't bother. I leave that to the politician. I leave that to the minister. Let them sort it out." And ray. But I believe that, well, as I said, when I was in Jamaica, I went to Ochias Primary School, my previous high school, primary school, went to York Castle High School, went to Brownstown Community College. All these institutions of learning should be having discussions or even showing some tapes or so with some discussions on constitution reform, educating the people, educating the masses.
No, because they took it out of school, so they're ignorant to it all.
Mm.
They're ignorant to it all. It's not in school no more. What you look at? Okay, let me ask you. So your school that you used to go to, is there any drastic change since you've been there from a kid?
When it's a drastic change, what do you mean?
Like, yeah, the building, everything, any change? Like.
Yeah. I mean, the principal, Raymond Treasure, has been on my show. He's a very vibrant guy, and you can see changes which have been done. I can see that, and I
Okay.
went up there and I see physical changes which have been done. The classroom I used to go to, I went to. I see some classrooms need fixing up, but I can see some additions and whatever. I see some
Okay.
nice, what should I say, some breakout spots. Like in Ochias Primary School, there was something called some breakout section where children can go. And in York Castle High School, I saw some breakout sections where children can go. Not like in some places in the States or in the UK where they say you have a room where you can go and scream and go, ah! Have you seen that? there's
Okay.
there's some places where people can actually vent and go and scream and go mad, and they go for 5 minutes or 3 minutes and then walk out and say, I'm okay. I'm okay.
That's the kind
Seriously,
of improvement that I'm looking for in Jamaica.
you want that?
Because, yeah, schools.
Yeah.
You're elevating the schools, and the hospital system. You shouldn't have a hospital that you're going in for emergency, and when you get in there, the equipment is not right, or either the doctor not up on shift right now. You have to wait for the doctor for coming. That is to me, that is me can't say that. And
Mm,
it's something that I always said. I always want to retire back home in my country, but that is the one thing will let me fear for even said think about that now, is
the
the
health
medical system.
the health factor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's well, before we go, but anyway, because we've got to keep the message on point, and we have to somehow be in the process of educating persons as much as possible, and we can't take back with chat no more. We can take back with chat. This is a serious year now, of 2025,
Hmm.
and this election which is taking place, I'm going to be challenging the 70%, the 67 to 70% of persons who do not um, get themselves involved in the election, Michelle. You know,
Yes.
those people need to somehow get themselves involved, not just at the time of an election or a serious election. Because anytime there's a serious election, okay, I believe that if this election is mammoth and more people turn out, then the JLP will lose, if anything, because people just come out and just say they want to get rid of. Anytime there's a
Hmm.
massive
Hmm.
change, and personally, I believe, and I just do not like more than 2 terms for any person. I don't care.
Exactly. Who do you think you are? Who you
Yeah,
think you are?
I don't believe, even if Mark Golan win the next election, I don't want them more than 2 terms. And Jeff, I don't want them
Because
more
I
than
mean, I see no
2 terms.
significant change with the for the 4 8 years that you have. How
Yeah,
long been serving there?
yeah. I think two
Yeah.
two terms is significant,
This is
and
what I'm saying. Jamaica is slack. Them not have no rules, no regulation, no nothing. Them just slack. It is free for all. That's the way I see it. It just
free
free
fall.
for all.
Well, well. I wanna say, any last word, any last word, any else say before we go, Uche? Any last things for you say?
All right. Well, for me, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I'll continue to fight the fight and educate the people as much as possible.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna devote some time to really go through the Constitution and to
Yes.
highlight the key areas that we have issues with. You know, like the yeah, man, do your thing. Go on forward. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna find some time to go through the Constitution and highlight the key areas that needs to change that will give the people more control over the political process. I'm gonna try to do it. I know the Constitution is a lengthy piece of legislation, but I'm gonna
Mm.
divide. I'm gonna find some time to do it. But as a people, we owe it to ourselves to really get educated. Somehow we just
Yeah.
lazy and we don't want to read and we don't want to uplift
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. You understand? We're lazy. Marcus gave
Yep.
himself to read and we don't want to read. And so we get left behind and we don't want to learn and we don't want to participate in these
And you
things.
just listen to what the other people them are saying, and that's it.
Yes.
You know, have
And
no
them and
no.
them yeah. And them rule you. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
But for me, I'll continue to be the voice. I'm very, very busy because again I'm doing a lot of things physically in person, so I really not depend on the media too much like one time, Sir Sidial, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I get myself active. Me I do what I need to do. Me I do the little things. I was recently invited to a JLP function. I'm gonna go because again, I don't have a problem. I want to go and hear what plans they have for the people because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it's the people's business, right? So once they matter about the people,
Yes.
I will go. But we definitely need to be educated, and the masses, the 60% that didn't vote, them really need to it's a new year. They really need to look on the inside and see if they really want to sit on the outside and allow the others to give them a government that they really don't approve of. They need to get engaged and participate in the political processes. That's all me have to say right now.
Mm. Mm. Yes. Yes. So I just post something there. You can see that flyer of the event on this Tuesday, January the 7th, Constitution Amendment Republic Bill, discussion on it with the relevant persons there, and I think I have also the image of the other one as well. Um, that is the one with the minister Malahu fought. Um, I think that is one which is also very very important as well, and I believe can I tell you this? Can I tell you this? I was trying to do something the other day, right, Michelle and Uche. I was trying to do something the other day, and I went into Google, yeah, I went into Google and just search up and say blah blah blah, and there was this Indian guy that was providing all the information. Yes, this Indian guy provided all the information, and lots of people in the UK needed that piece of information. But what was so very interesting was the fact that you could hear a rooster crow. You know, you could hear a rooster crowing. But the point about it is that what he did was capture that information and sold it to us. And when I say sold
Mm-hmm.
it to us, he just actually created his channel and he seemed doing different things there. And it helped
Mm-hmm.
people in the UK, helped me because the information was put together. And I believe that, and Uche, just like how you mentioned about the information being put together, I think that is what we have to do as well. Put some
Mm-hmm.
key information together and share it in bite-sized chunk. Because people these days, whether we like it or not, a combination of them being lazy or them not have the time, and therefore the one who has the time with the information to give, let's give it as much as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Kofi said to save Jamaica, we must put away our differences and come together as a nation. Well, Uche, that's what you said at the start. Come
Yeah,
together and come together as a nation. But then
Exactly. And stop
I
seeing this green and stop
yeah,
seeing this orange and
yeah.
them thing
But,
there.
but but I did throw it back. I did throw it back and say, do we believe in the meantime until that happened? What do we do? And I said, Uche, I understand it's a vision and it's a dream. It's a pipe dream. It's nice saying these things, but in the climate of Jamaica, in the climate of the world, even the UK, because right now you have such a separation with the three different main parties now. Well, Reform is now claiming to be one of the main parties now. The Labour Party is doing things which people are unhappy. They say is the most unpopular prime minister in the past, and he just won a few months ago. Kemi Badenoch, who is coming on, she's under some pressure now because of her kickback with Nigel Farage, and Nigel Farage is getting a lot of his support from Elon Musk. You know what I said?
Uh-huh.
Anyhow, so, and a last note there. What's your take on the UK? I mean, not the UK. The president. President is going to be charged and sentenced. Michelle, is he going to be having his CIA Secret Service?
He is not going to be charged. Okay, please. He ain't going
No.
nowhere.
He's been charged already. No, sentenced. No,
I mean, he's not going to be sentenced in nothing. Nothing.
You don't think he's going to be
Please.
sentenced?
Nope. Ain't no
Yeah,
sentencing gonna go on. He ain't gonna be sentenced to no
yeah, but
jail
he can
time.
get sentenced and suspended, isn't it?
Well, I guess so, huh?
I always laugh all the while and say, if Trump goes into prison, where would the CIA guys them go? Where the Secret Service them guys go? You know. But anyway, we know that's not going to happen. But Michelle, on a
That is
serious
not
note,
gonna happen.
but Michelle, on a serious note, you guys need to sort out something with your constitution, because you know you guys have to sort out this thing about
Big time.
tiki and wrong bang. Therefore, if a person is charged for criminal offense or whatever like that, they should be of a wrong bang. Mean to say they can't go forward as president.
You're doggone right, because if you go to jail for a federal crime here, even though you serve your time, you still can't vote.
Yes,
You can't come out and vote.
yes,
You
yes,
cannot vote. You can't vote, and you're not even allowed to carry any kind of weapon, any gun.
yes.
So it's the same thing. You're going for the highest position now, and you
Mm,
have charges against you. Wow.
yes. Well, Michelle, I was having some just to let you know, it is sorrel.
Oh,
Sorrel.
I've made some great sorrel, honey, and
It's some
my
great sorrel.
plum cake. Oh yes, that's what I'm
You, you,
having to myself.
you're drinking sorry late, man. I drank a lot of sorry last year.
Last year. Well,
Last
Yeah.
year, so come in and drink it this year.
okay, I drink it this year.
It's a last year thing. It's a season thing. You know,
I
it's a
give it
season.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
last year it's a 2024. You know what, Michelle? Come on, catch on.
Michelle, Michelle, I was walking in the park the other day with my camera, and the day after the New Year, and I stopped in each person along the way and said, "Do you know this is the first time I've seen you since this year?" And I stunned them, and they said, "Oh,
Right.
this is the first time
Yep.
I've seen you this year."
Yeah.
Which was that I made sure I walk on January the 1st. I did go there. I mean, today was like 0 degrees out
Oh
in the
no, it
park
was
there.
cold, huh?
Oh man,
You can
I
have
had on
that.
I had
You can
on
keep
I had
it.
on long john, tracksuit bottom, a boot, 3 layers.
No, you
You know,
can't keep that one there.
you know. But listen, guys, I want to say have a good night, Michelle, and
All
so
right,
like that.
guys. Have a good night and have a
Yeah.
happy new year, everyone.
Yes.
And
Uche.
the three
All
of us,
right.
the three of us, the three of
Bye-bye.
us have work to do. The three of us,
Yes.
we have work to do.
Yes.
Yes.
We need to team up. I don't know if you want to assist, but I'll talk with you after the year, Sir Sidiel, and then you can probably
Yes.
liaison with Michelle, and
Yes.
Yes.
we can see if we can work out something.
No, and
Okay.
I'm very serious about assisting as much as possible in divulging and getting the information out about where we are going as a people, as
Right. Yeah, the
Jamaica,
platform
especially
for
at this
that.
time
That's right.
regarding the constitution reform. It is so very important as well. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Have a
man.
good night, everyone.
Have a good night. Take care.
Thank you, Michelle. Do take care.
Bye-bye.
Big up, Sir
All
Sidiel.
right.
Cool.
Respect. Uh, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining as well, and thanks for my guest, which was Uche, and also Michelle as well. It's a very interesting time, very interesting period, and based on the discussions that I've had earlier tonight, I want to thank those who are on TikTok who join in, and Coffee for dropping those questions. Gifted Zion, thank you for the gift. You like and subscribe and share. I keep seeing this restriction there on TikTok. I don't understand what it is. TikTok gets a bit very funny when you discuss different topics, or because I mentioned things about drink. Maybe they didn't like when I mentioned drink, or so, or politics, or certain terminologies that maybe unhappy with it. But that's the way how things go. But I believe that at this time, Michael Mason, how are you? Kim, how are you? Writing God, respect. On YouTube, Facebook as well. We're in this very crucial time, I would say, in this world, with the transition and with all the different changes which are happening. But specifically when it comes on to Jamaica, I believe we cannot even compare Jamaica with other places at this time. I believe what we've got to do is to see Jamaica as it is, you know, treat everyone on as, on their own merit. And as I've been saying, very concerned about this. Where are these 67% of persons who do not engage in the political process over the years? Previously, they said 40% turnout. Last general election was 37% turnout. A by-election recently, there was 23,000 persons on the voters list, and I think about 4,000 or 5,000 people turn out or so. What is that actually saying? Is that people are sort of disenfranchised or disenchanted? They're not disenfranchised, disenchanted with the political process. Or are they happy with the status quo where they're at? And those who are normally engaging, and what we are seeing, those who are normally engaging of the poorer class and of those who are not really educated as much as possible. And they are the ones now, not impose, but somewhat elect the relevant leadership to run the country. And then the leadership will now believe that they have this mandate. Well, they have the mandate based on the political demographic. But do they have the mandate because they have not really received the fullness of the vote from the majority of the persons on the electoral list? That need to change. So I'm challenging persons in Jamaica, challenging the middle class, upper class, the professionals, those who do not engage in the political process, not just to think about voting, but to engage. You're talking about the constitution reform, the tabling of the bill that has taken place. That is happening. Engage with it. Be challenged. It's your future. Those in the diaspora as well, I believe it's very important to take part in the vote process and to be cognizant of the issues. One may not have a vote, but they say you can always take a plane and go down and vote. Also, I believe also that one can actually speak to your family. You can actually speak to your friends, speak to those who you support, and encourage them. Don't tell them who to vote for, but encourage them as much as possible. That's what I believe is, and I'll be as much as possible being a part of the whole process in the constitution reform leading up to the election. I'll be involved as much as possible. Okay, so have a good night and God bless you. And remember, you can check out my podcast on Spotify. What I've been doing is capturing some key serious discussions which I've had with Jeanette Calder of JAM, Professor Rosalie Hamilton from Advocacy Network, different persons over the week at the Summer Bells and the Gores, the racing guys from their sons, on Spotify, Apple. You can check them out. They are going to be there as well. The podcast, because with the podcast version and the audio version, you can listen and you can go about your business and enjoy your day and listen to it. So check it out on Spotify. Dialogue that matters. Dialogues that matters. Silver and City. Just check it out on Spotify as well. Would appreciate that as much as possible. Okay, so have a good night. God bless you, and peace out. And see you next week. Okay, peace out. Bye.